Hello friends, myself Dr. Nandakumar Raubawale from College of Engineering Ambazugai is going to deal with Applied Thermodynamics 1. This is our 12th lecture in concerned with Applied Thermodynamics 1. Today we will discuss about the first unit of Applied Thermodynamics 1, that is fuels and combustion. So in this unit we will be studying types of fuels, calorific value of fuel and its determination, combustion equations for hydrocarbon fuels, determination of minimum air required for combustion, excess air supplied, conversion of volumetric analysis to mass analysis, flue gas analysis. So today, out of all this, we will be studying introduction to fuels, what fuels are, then sources of energy, classification of fuels, calorific value of fuel, higher calorific value and lower calorific value, its definition, determination of calorific value. So, first of all, this introduction of this fuels and combustion. Thermal energy is a basic form of energy which is required for heating and power production. It is produced by burning of fuels such as wood, coal, and fuels from petroleum products. The nuclear energy is also one of the source of energy used to produce heat. However, the nuclear fuels does not burn in the similar way as the conventional fuel, but outside the scope of oxidation process, these fuels produce heat energy. In this chapter, we will be studying the combustion of fuels in presence of air and the energy liberated by combustion of organic, that is hydrocarbon fuels. Fuels are the substances which liberate heat energy by their combustion. The fuel is defined as a substance which undergoes a process of combustion in presence of air, that is in presence of oxygen, and liberates thermal energy in the form of heat. Any substance which undergoes the process of combustion in presence of oxygen, thereby liberating thermal energy in the form of heat. So the combustion of fuel produces the product of combustion such as carbon dioxide, water, and other harmful products, harmful gases to the environment known as pollutants. So this carbon dioxide and water are the two products of combustion which are not harmful to the environment. However, other products produced by combustion of fuel are harmful to the environment. Therefore, such products which are produced by combustion of fuel are known as the pollutants. The sources of energy are classified broadly into three categories as conventional sources of energy, non-conventional sources of energy, and nuclear sources of energy. So these conventional sources of energy includes solid fuels, liquid fuels, and gaseous fuels. Whereas non-conventional sources of energy includes solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy, geothermal energy, etc. And third one is nuclear energy. Now we will be discussing about solid fuels. The fuels which are in the solid phase liberate the heat energy by combustion of such fuels in presence of oxygen are: wood is one of the source of heat energy by combustion of wood. It liberates calorific value of 10,500 kilojoules per kg of fuel. And second one is peat is another source of heat energy by combustion of peat. It liberates 14,600 kilojoules of heat energy per kg of fuel burned. Lignite or brown coal is another source of heat energy, that is solid fuel, which liberates 12,500 kilojoules of heat energy. Bituminous coal is another source of heat energy, that is solid fuel. It liberates 31,000 kilojoules of heat energy per kg of bituminous coal. So anthracite is one of the solid fuel which also liberates 35,600 kilojoules of heat energy per kg of this solid fuel. The liquid fuels, the fuels which are in the form of liquid phase, such as gasoline or petrol. By combustion of gasoline or petrol, it liberates 46,900 kilojoules per kg of heat energy. And paraffin is another liquid fuel which liberates 46,500 kilojoules per kg of fuel. Diesel oil is one of the source of energy and is a liquid fuel which also liberates 46,000 kilojoules per kg of heat energy. Heavy fuel or crude oil is one of the liquid fuel which also liberates 44,000 kilojoules per kg of heat energy. Then coming to the gaseous fuel, the fuels which are in the gaseous form are known as gaseous fuels. So first one is coal gas, which liberates 29,000 to 31,900 kilojoules per kg of heat energy. Then town gas is one of the gas which liberates 17,500 to 19,500 kilojoules of heat energy on complete combustion. Then take oven gas is one of the fuel which liberates 19,300 to 21,300 kilojoules per kg of fuel. Producer gas liberates 4,800 to 5,000 kilojoules per kg of heat energy. So now coming to the calorific value, what this calorific value is. So the calorific value of fuel is defined as heat produced by complete combustion. Heat produced, calorific value is nothing but the amount of heat produced by complete combustion, not by incomplete combustion. Combustion must be complete combustion of unit mass of fuel in kilojoules. So this is nothing but calorific value is defined as amount of heat produced. It is the amount of heat produced by complete combustion of unit mass of fuel in kilojoules per kg. So the calorific value of gaseous fuel is generally expressed in kilojoules per unit volume of gas at normal temperature and pressure. If the fuel is gaseous fuel, then the unit to measure calorific value of gaseous fuel is kilojoules per unit volume of gas at normal temperature and pressure. The calorific value of fuel is classified as higher calorific value as well as lower calorific value. What this higher calorific value is and what is this lower calorific value, we will be discussing in detail. So now what is this higher calorific value? The fuel containing hydrogen will combine with oxygen and form steam during the process of combustion. So always a fuel sometimes contains the hydrogen as one of the constituent, and at the time of combustion the other constituents along with hydrogen burn, and this hydrogen which burns combines with oxygen and forms the water. So this water which is formed by combustion of hydrogen gets evaporated thereby absorbing heat energy in the flue gases. So some part of heat energy is absorbed by these vapor of water, and this water vapor gets moves with the flue gases and carries heat energy along with it. So now the flue gases are cooled to its initial temperature, lowest temperature, in order to condense this vapor produced by combustion of hydrogen, and heat energy absorbed by this vapor is extracted. That is nothing but maximum amount of heat energy is extracted from the flue gases. That is the amount of heat energy which is carried by the steam in the gases is also extracted, and that maximum amount of heat energy extracted is known as the higher calorific value. Steam produced gets condensed when we extract heat energy, and the maximum amount of heat energy which is extracted from the fuel burned is known as higher calorific value. The maximum amount of heat energy extracted by complete combustion of fuel in kilojoules per kg, or it may be in kilojoules per meter cube, is known as higher calorific value. So for example, we are going to burn 1 kg of fuel, and this 1 kg of fuel liberates, say for example, 46,000 kilojoules of heat energy per kg. So when it produces 46,000, but say for example, out of this 1 kg, if it has got 1% of hydrogen, so this hydrogen gets converted into water H2O, and this water absorbs some part of heat energy, and this water takes out some part of heat energy, and if we allow this water to move out along with the heat energy, then this amount of heat energy which the fuel liberates is not available for use. Therefore this amount of heat energy which is absorbed by this water is also taken reverse, that is extracted, and maximum amount which is liberated by combustion of fuel is obtained, and this amount of heat energy which is liberated is known as higher calorific value. Coming to the lower calorific value, what this lower calorific value is? Lower calorific value is the difference between the higher calorific value and amount of heat absorbed by water. So here when we burn fuel, so fuel liberates heat energy. Maximum amount of heat energy liberated by unit mass of fuel is known as higher calorific value. So when we subtract this amount of heat carried by water produced in the combustion, or the water which was present in the fuel absorbs heat energy and gets converted into the vapor. So the amount of heat carried by water vapor is subtracted from higher calorific value, and the amount of heat energy which is taken for use is known as lower calorific value. So this water which comes in the flue gases is because of two sources of water. One is the hydrogen which is present in the water present in the fuel, as well as the hydrogen which is present in the fuel gets converted into water. So the sources of water are two. One is already water is present in the fuel, and hydrogen present in the fuel burns, and that also gets converted into water. So this water absorbs heat energy. So amount of heat energy which is absorbed by water to get converted into vapor is subtracted from higher calorific value, and rest of the amount of heat energy is known as lower calorific value. So water is obtained because of two sources. One is water present in the fuel, and water formed by combustion of hydrogen present in the fuel. So evaporation of water takes place at standard temperature of 15 degrees Celsius saturation temperature, at which latent heat of evaporation or vaporization is approximately 2466 kilojoules per kg. So here this lower calorific value is obtained as lower calorific value is equal to higher calorific value minus x into 2466, where x is the fraction of water present in the unit mass of flue gases. So here, where x is the fraction of water present in the unit mass of flue gases. Say for example, 1 kg of flue gas, mg, mass of flue gas is 1 kg. So this contains, say for example, 100 grams of water. So this 100 grams means is 0.1 kg is the water. So this value of x is 0.1 kg. If we are going to burn 1 kg of fuel, sorry, if flue gases are 1 kg of flue gases, and in that 1 kg 100 grams is the water, therefore 0.1 kg is the value of x. So value of x here is taken as 0.1. So coming to determination of calorific value. So the calorific value of fuel is determined based on the composition of fuel. The calorific value of some elementary fuels are elements of fuel at normal temperature and pressure are analyzed, and those are, so carbon, if the fuel is pure carbon without water in it, the higher calorific value of pure carbon is 33,900 kilojoules per kg. If fuel contains carbon monoxide, then the calorific value of fuel is 10,170. If fuel contains the sulfur, pure sulfur of 1 kg, then 9,295 kg of kilojoules of heat energy is produced per kg. If it is a pure hydrogen, 1 kg of hydrogen liberates 1,44,000 kilojoules of heat energy per kg of fuel. So if this hydrogen is burned, then it produces water. So it has got a lower calorific value because water absorbs heat energy, some amount of heat energy to get evaporated, and the amount of heat energy which is absorbed by water is subtracted from higher calorific value. So lower calorific value of hydrogen is 1,21,500 kilojoules per kg of hydrogen fuel burnt. So determination of calorific value. How this calorific value is determined? So fuels are having compositions as a fuel may contain carbon and hydrogen, oxygen percentage, sulfur percentage, sometimes carbon monoxide may be there. So these are the elements of a fuel or composition of fuel, and based on these compositions we can find out calorific value of fuel. So the calorific value of 100 kg of fuel, if we burn 100 kg of fuel in kilojoules, is given as, calorific value is given as 33,900 into C, where is 33,900 is nothing but calorific value of carbon. If carbon 1 kg of carbon is burned, it produces 33,900 kilojoules of heat energy. So that is nothing but, we are looking at this equation, 33,900 is the calorific value of carbon, 1,44,000 is the calorific value of hydrogen, minus of 4 divided by 8. So calorific value of producing hydrogen is subtracted here, because this hydrogen which is burned here is going to get converted into water, and that water absorbs heat energy. So here O by 8 is subtracted, and then after that 9,295 is the calorific value of sulfur. So this much amount of heat energy is liberated by fraction of sulfur burned in along with the fuel. So if we are going to burn 100 kg of fuel, then this much amount of heat energy is liberated, and that is higher calorific value. So the higher calorific value in kilojoules per kg of fuel, if we are going to burn 100 kg, then we get this. So dividing equation number 1, say this is equation number 1, by 100, we get the higher calorific value in kilojoules per kg of fuel. So this is the higher calorific value of fuel per kg of a fuel. So dividing above equation number 1 by 100, we get this equation number 2. On simplification, dividing each and every term by 100, so this 100, 2 zeros gets cancelled, here 2 0 get cancelled, and here we get a point. So this is nothing but the calorific value, higher calorific value of fuel in kilojoules per kg of fuel burn. Then coming to the lower calorific value, what is the lower calorific value? The lower calorific value of fuel per kg of fuel in kilojoules is given as, so the earlier equation of higher calorific value 33,900 into C plus 1,44,000 in bracket hydrogen into hydrogen H minus O divided by 8, 9,295 into S minus out this 9 into 2,446 into H. So amount of water produced is going to absorb heat energy. If we allow that water to carry heat, then that amount of heat is subtracted. So how much amount of heat energy this water is going to absorb, that we can calculate by this. So how this 9 comes? 2466 is nothing but the what we see latent heat of vaporization, and H is the percentage of hydrogen present in the fuel. So here this is for 100 kg, numerator is for 100 kg, dividing it by 100, we get the heat energy produced in kilojoules per kg of fuel. So this lower calorific value is given by 339 into C, 1440 in bracket H minus O divided by 8 plus of 92.95 into S. So this, if we simplify 9 into 2466 divided by 100, we get it as 222 into percentage of hydrogen present. So this gives us the lower calorific value in kilojoules per kg of fuel. So here how this term 9 comes, that we see here 8 parts of oxygen by mass combined with 1 part of hydrogen to form water equal to 9 into H parts by mass. So here this 9 is nothing but 8 parts of oxygen plus 1 part of hydrogen. This combines to form 9 parts of water. So that therefore the mass of water is taken as 9. So therefore here it is 9. And H is percentage of hydrogen present in the fuel. So if we burn H percentage of hydrogen, then it produces 9 units of water in the flue gases. So here there is one more formula known as DeLong's formula for finding higher calorific value. It is empirical formula which is obtained by the experimentations or observations. So this formula can also be used to find out higher calorific value of fuel. So now we will see how to find out the calorific value of a fuel. So here there is one problem. So in this problem it is explained about the analysis of sample oil, and the composition of that oil are given here. By the combustion of this oil, how much of heat energy is liberated, and how to find out calorific value of this oil, we will see. So here already we know the DeLong's formula for finding higher calorific value. So DeLong's formula for finding higher calorific value is 1 divided by 100 into 8,080 C plus 34,500 H minus 4 divided by 8, close this bracket, plus 2220 S, 1220 times S sulfur, closing this bracket, then bracket into 4.18. So in this formula, C is percentage of carbon, H is percentage of hydrogen, O is percentage of oxygen, and S is percentage of sulfur. So all other things are absent, only carbon and hydrogen are present. So higher calorific value can be obtained. HCV is equal to 1 divided by 100 bracket 8000 EP into percentage of carbon is 86 plus 34,500. Percentage of hydrogen is 14%. 14 minus percentage of oxygen is 0. This term becomes 0 plus 2220 into percentage of sulfur is also 0. Closing this chain bracket into 4.1868. On simplification, this gives us, that is 49,315 kilojoules per kg of fuel. So here 1 kg of oil, 1 kg of oil liberates or produces, yields H2 into 9 times kg of steel, that is nothing but produces 0.14 into 9. Percentage of hydrogen is 14%. So here we take it as 0.14, which is equal to 1.26 kg of steel. We burn 1 kg of oil, it produces 1.26 kg of steel. So therefore, the calorific value of fuel is obtained, that is lower calorific value of fuel is obtained as lower calorific value of fuel lower calorific value of fuel, that is LCV, is equal to higher calorific value minus mass of steam produced into 246. Higher calorific value we know, which is 49,315 minus mass of steam produced is 1.26 into calorific value is 2466. On further simplification, we get 46,209 kilojoules of heat energy per kg of fuel burned, lower calorific value that we are going to get here from DeLong's formula. So if we use some other formula to find out this calorific value, one more formula was known to us, so we can use that formula also, and we can find out higher calorific value and lower calorific value of fuel. So the formula which was specified on the basis of chemical reaction that we see, and on simplification we will get the calorific value. So higher calorific value is given by per kg of fuel, that is given by 339 C plus 1440 H minus O divided by 8 plus 92.95 S. So here 339 into C, percentage of carbon is known to us, point is 86 plus 0.14 hydrogen, this is 0.14, oxygen is 0, into 1440 plus 92.5 into S, percentage is 0. So on simplification, again we get here this as 49310 kilojoules of heat energy per kg of fuel burned. Then after this we can find out the lower calorific value. Lower calorific value is equal to higher calorific value minus fraction of steam produced, that is mass of steam produced, into latent heat, that is 2466. So higher calorific value we know 49310 minus steam produced is 1.26 into 2466. So this gives us 46,204 kilojoules per kg of heat energy, the lower calorific value of fuel we can obtain. So coming to next, so atomic mass and molecular mass of the constituents of a fuel. The fuel may contain carbon, sulfur, fuel may contain carbon, may contain sulfur, it may contain hydrogen, it may contain oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, water vapor, sulfur dioxide, methane, ethane, and air. All these are the chemicals or the constituents which are going to be involved in the combustion of fuel. So before that, before knowing the combustion equations, we must know atomic mass and molecular mass. So atomic mass of carbon is 12, molecular mass is 12. So sulfur is having 32 as atomic mass, molecular mass is also 32. Hydrogen is having atomic mass 1 and molecular mass is 2. So atomically we represent it as a H2, and molecules, one molecule contains two atoms of hydrogen, so this is molecular mass is 2, atomic mass is 1. So oxygen has got atomic mass 16, molecular mass 32. Nitrogen is having atomic mass 14, molecular mass 28. So this data will be very much useful at the time of formation of chemical equations or reactions or combustion equations, and from which we find out the analysis of combustion of fuel and the products of combustion which we obtain. So carbon dioxide has got molecular mass 44, carbon monoxide 28, water vapor 18, sulfur dioxide 64, methane 16, and ethane 28, and air is 29. So these are the molecular masses as well as atomic masses which are going to help us in finding the constituents of the flue gases by the combustion of a particular fuel. So therefore this table will help us in future, that is in next lecture, to find out the equations of stoichiometric or chemically correct mixtures by the combustion of fuel on the basis of mass analysis, and that mass analysis can be converted into volumetric analysis. So today we will stop here. In next lecture we will continue.